Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog Podcast. Today is Thursday, March 7th, 2019. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's college basketball, NBA, and NHL games, look ahead to tonight's games in each of those sports, discuss some spring training stuff, Antonio Brown's supposed to be traded tomorrow, and my best bet of the day. Yesterday, LIU Brooklyn upset Sacred Heart 71-62 in the NEC tournament. As LIU Brooklyn moves on, they're now 16-15 on the year. Sacred Heart finishes the year at 15-17. Raekwon Clark led the way for LIU with 21 points, and Sean Hoem had 17 for Sacred Heart. Seton Hall upsets number 16 Marquette 73-64. Huge win for Seton Hall. They're 17-12. Marquette's 23-7. Miles Powell 34 points. Sam Hauser 25 for Marquette. Missouri defeats Georgia 64-39. Missouri 14-15. Georgia 11-19. Jordan Geist had 18 points for Mizzou, and Nicholas Claxton had 9 for Georgia. Number 10 LSU defeats Florida 79-78 in overtime. LSU 25-5. Florida 17-13. Tremont Waters had 19 for LSU, and Jalen Hudson had 33 for Florida. Penn State upsets Rutgers 66-65. Penn State 13-17. Rutgers 14-15. Lamar Stevens had 18 for Penn State, and Eugene Omariori had 23 for Rutgers. West Virginia defeats Iowa State 90-75. West Virginia 12-18. Iowa State 20-10. Jermaine Haley had 28 for West Virginia, and Wendell Wigington had 17 for Iowa State. Davidson defeats St. Bonaventure 64-46. Davidson 22-8. St. Bonaventure 15-15. Kellen Grady had 23 for Davidson, and Dominic Welsh had 14 for Bonaventure. Dayton defeats LaSalle 70-39. Dayton 20-10, LaSalle 9-20. Josh Cunningham had 10 for Dayton, and David Beatty had 9 for LaSalle. UMass defeats Richmond 87-79. UMass 11-19. Richmond 12-18. Rashawn Holloway had 28 for UMass, and Grant Golden had 21 for Richmond. Fordham defeats George Washington 67-56. Fordham 12-18. George Washington 8-22. Jalen Cobb had 15 for Fordham, and Justin Mazzulla had 12 for George Washington. Fairleigh Dickinson defeats Wagner 84-46 in the Northeast Tournament quarterfinal. Fairleigh Dickinson 18-13. Wagner finishes at 13-17. Mike Holloway Jr. had 18 for Dickinson, and Elijah Davis had 23 for Wagner. St. Francis, Pennsylvania defeats Bryant 67-63 in the Northeast Conference Tournament quarterfinal. St. Francis, Pennsylvania 17-13, Bryant 10-20. Heath Braxton had 15 for Francis, Pennsylvania, and Juan Cardenas had 17 for Bryant. Northern Kentucky defeats Detroit Mercy 99-88 in the Horizon League quarterfinal. Northern Kentucky 24-8 in Detroit 11-20. Tyler Sharp, 25 points for Northern Kentucky, and Antoine Davis had 30 for Detroit. Oakland defeats Youngstown State 88-84 in the quarterfinal of the Horizon League. Oakland 16-16. Youngstown finishes at 12-20. Javen Cumberland had 23 for Oakland, and Devin Morgan had 19 for Youngstown. Louisiana Tech defeats Florida Atlantic 72-69. Louisiana Tech 19-12, Florida Atlantic 17-13. Daquan Bracey had 21 for Tech, and Carlise Salins had 19 for FAU. Marshall defeats FIU 94-78. Marshall improves to 17-13. FIU drops to 18-12. CJ Burks had 21 for Marshall, and Awasman Ogashe had 19 for FIU. Rice defeats Charlotte 79-70. Rice 13-17. Charlotte 7-21. Drew Peterson had 15 for Rice, and John Davis had 29 for Charlotte. Southern Miss defeats Old Dominion 59-52. Southern Miss 18-11. Old Dominion 23-7. Ladavius Drain had 18 for Southern Miss, and Old Dominion's Xavier Green had 11. Robert Morris defeats St. Francis Brooklyn 69-65 in overtime in the Northeast Tournament quarterfinal. Robert Morris 17-15. St. Francis Brooklyn 17-15. Matty McConnell had 21 for Robert Morris, and Glenn Sanabria had 15 for St. Francis Brooklyn. Morehead State defeats SIU Edwardsville 72-68 in the OVC first round. Moorhead 13-19, SAU Edwardsville 10-21. Malik Green had 23 for Moorhead, and Brandon Jackson had 17 for Edwardsville. UTSA defeats Western Kentucky 81-76 in overtime. UTSA 17-13, Western Kentucky 18-13. Javion Jackson at 29 for UTSA, and Charles Bassey at 21 for Western Kentucky. A&M Corpus Christi defeats McNeese 59-50. Corpus Christi's 13-17 and McNeese 9-21. Kareem South had 17 for Corpus Christi, and James Harvey had 15 for McNeese. Central Arkansas defeats Sam Houston State 91-87. Central Arkansas 12-18. Sam Houston State 20-10. DeAndre Jones had 22 for Central Arkansas, and Sam Houston State's Zach Newtall had 18. Nichols defeats Northwestern State 83-60. Nichols 13-17, Northwestern State 11-19. Jeremiah Jefferson had 25 for Nichols, and DeAndre Love had 11 for Northwestern State. Southeast Louisiana defeats New Orleans 81-67. Southeast Louisiana 16-14, New Orleans 17-12. Moses Greenwood had 33 for Southeast Louisiana, and Trey Green had 15 for New Orleans. Houston Baptist defeats Incarnate Word 118-111. That looks like an NBA score. Houston Baptist 12-16, Incarnate Word 16-24. Jalen Gates had 25 for Baptist, and Christian Peavy had 29 for Incarnate Word. St. Louis defeats Duquesne 85-75. St. Louis 19-11, Duquesne 19-11. Tremaine Isabel Jr. had 39 for St. Louis, and Eric Williams Jr. had 40 for Duquesne. South Florida defeats Tulane 75-70. South Florida 19-11, Tulane 4-25. Justin Brown had 20 for USF, and Caleb Daniels had 20 for Tulane. Creighton defeats Providence 76-70 in overtime. Creighton 17-13, Providence 16-14. Tyshawn Alexander had 17 for Creighton, and Isaiah Jackson had 21 for Providence. DePaul defeats Georgetown 101-69, an impressive win for DePaul. They're 15-13, Georgetown 18-12. Max Struss had 30 for DePaul, and James Akinjo had 13 for Georgetown. Arkansas defeats Vanderbilt 84-48. Arkansas 16-14, Vanderbilt 9-21. Daniel Gafford had 20 for Arkansas, and Aaron Neesmith had 11 for Vandy. Northwestern defeats Ohio State 68-50. Northwestern 13-17, Ohio State 18-12. Derek Pardon had 20 for Northwestern, and Kayshawn Woods had 15 for Ohio State. Clemson defeats Notre Dame 64-62. Clemson 18-12, Notre Dame 13-17. Marquise Reed had 22 for Clemson, and John Mooney had 18 for Notre Dame. Georgia Tech upsets NC State 63-61. Georgia Tech 14-17. NC State 20-10. James Banks III had 19 for Georgia Tech, and Markel Johnson had 17 for NC State. Oklahoma State upsets Baylor 67-64. Oklahoma State 11-19. Baylor 19-11. Isaac Likely had 23 for Oklahoma State, and Makai Mason had 19 for Baylor. New Mexico defeats Boise State 73-72. New Mexico 13-16. Boise 11-19. Corey Mangold had 19 for New Mexico, and Jasani and Jessup had 23 for Boise. Middle Tennessee defeats UTEP 69-53. Middle Tennessee 10-20. UTEP 8-20. Antonio Green had 26 for Middle Tennessee, and Paul Thomas had 13 for UTEP. Tennessee Martin defeats Eastern Illinois 78-71 in the OVC first round. Tennessee Martin 12-18. Eastern Illinois 14-18. Jalen Gill had 17 for Tennessee Martin, and Josiah Wells had 26 for Eastern Illinois. Fresno State upsets San Diego State 76-74. Fresno 21-8, San Diego State 19-11. Deshaun Taylor had 25 for Fresno, and Jalen McDaniels had 16 for San Diego State. Wyoming defeats San Jose State 81-71. Wyoming 7-23, San Jose State 4-25. Justin James had 25 for Wyoming, and Noah Bauman had 27 for San Jose State. Washington defeats Oregon State 81-76 in overtime. Washington 24-6, Oregon State 17-12. Noah Dickerson had 22 for Washington, and Trace Tinkle had 31 for Oregon State. Long Beach State defeats UC Riverside 70-57. Long Beach State 14-18. Riverside 9-22. Deshaun Booker had 21 for Long Beach State, and DJ McDonald had 12 for Riverside. Oregon defeats Washington State 72-61. Oregon 18-12, Washington State 11-19. Paul White had 21 for Oregon, and Washington State, Robert Franks had 16. Today's slate underway, or about to become final. Radford over Presbyterian in the Big South men's quarterfinal. I would have taken Radford the win, and my guess for the spread, I'm going to say that Radford would be favored by 11.5 here. And they're only favored by 4 in this game, which is lunacy to me, because Radford to me is so much better than Presbyterian. So it looks like Radford's going to win and cover, and I would have taken them to cover at -4. That, to me, is lunacy. They're way better than Presbyterian. And after that, you have Charleston Southern against Winthrop. Winthrop's only a 1-point favorite. I'm going to take Winthrop the win, and obviously cover the 1. Metro Atlantic, first round, 5 o'clock. You have St. Peter's against Marist. Marist is a 2.5-point favorite. I'm taking St. Peter's here to pull off the upset, as I said on the MAC tournament preview podcast. Hampton, Campbell. Campbell's favored by 3.5. I'm going to take Campbell to win and cover. 7 o'clock, ESPN 2. Number 20, Cincinnati at number 25, UCF. UCF's a 2.5-point favorite. I'm going to take Cincinnati here. Just a gut feeling I have. UCF has a little bit of a letdown after the Houston win. They're ranked, so I'm going to take Cincinnati here for the road upset. Iowa at number 21, Wisconsin. Wisconsin's laying 6.5. I'm going to take Wisconsin to win, but Iowa to cover. South Alabama, Coastal Carolina, Troy at Appalachian State, Temple at UConn. UConn's a 1-point favorite. I'm taking Temple to win on the road. They're the better team. Metro Atlantic first round, Fairfield against Manhattan. Fairfield's a 3-point favorite. I'm taking Manhattan to move on. Liberty is playing against North Florida in the A-Sun semifinal. Liberty's an 11.5-point favorite. I think that line's big. I'm going to take Liberty to win, though, but North Florida to cover. Patriot League quarterfinal, you have Army and Lehigh. I'm taking Lehigh to win and cover. Navy and American. American's laying 8.5. I'm taking American to win and cover. Patriot League quarterfinal, Holy Cross is at Bucknell. Bucknell's -8. They'll win and cover. Colgate's laying 9 against Boston University. I'm taking them to win and cover. Missouri Valley first round, Valparaiso against Indiana State. Indiana State's laying 3. I'm taking Indiana State to win and cover. 7:30 Bethune-Cookman against Florida A&M. Coppin State at Morgan State. Delaware State at Maryland Eastern. Savannah State at SC State. NC Central at NCA&T. Louisiana at Little Rock. Ohio Valley quarterfinal, Morehead State at Austin Peay. Or say against. Austin Peay's laying 9. I'm taking them to win and cover. A-Sun semifinal, NJIT against Lipscomb. Lipscomb's laying 12.5. I'm taking Lipscomb to win and cover. 8 o'clock, Fox Sports 1. Illinois is hosting Indiana. Illinois is laying 2. Surprising that Illinois is a favorite, but that's the state that we're in right now. I'm going to take Illinois to win and cover. Cal Baptist at Texas Rio Grande. Howard at Norfolk State. Yale Monroe at Arkansas State. Big South quarterfinal, High Point against Gardner-Webb. It's a pick'em. I'm taking High Point. 8:30 Alcorn State at Texas Southern. Southern at Prairie View. Alabama at Grambling. Bama A&M against Jackson State. Northern Colorado against Southern Utah. 9 o'clock ESPN. SMU is at number 12 Houston. Houston's laying 12.5. This screams bounce back for Houston. I'm taking Houston to win and cover. Idaho at Weber State. UCLA at Colorado on ESPN2. Colorado's laying 5.5. I think they'll win, but UCLA covers. Grand Canyon at Utah Valley. Metro Atlantic first round, Niagara against Monmouth. Monmouth's a 1.5 favorite. I'm taking Niagara for a slim upset there. And West Coast Conference first round, Pacific against Pepperdine. Pepperdine's laying a 1.5. I'm taking Pacific. Eastern Washington against Idaho State. 9:30 OVC quarterfinal, Tennessee Martin against Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State is laying 10. I'm taking them to win and cover. Missouri Valley first round, Evansville against Illinois State. Illinois State's laying 5.5. I'm taking Illinois State to win and cover. 10 o'clock, UC Irvine and Cal Poly. Santa Barbara against Cal State Northridge. Cal State Bakersfield against Seattle. USC at Utah. Utah's laying 3.5. I'm going to take Utah to win and cover. Hawaii against UC Davis. Montana, Portland State. Montana State, Sacramento State. 11 o'clock ESPNU. Cal at Stanford. Stanford's laying 11.5. I'm taking them to win and cover. And then Portland, San Diego. San Diego's laying 13. I think they'll win and cover. Portland's just a bad team in the West Coast Conference. NBA. The Heat defeat the Hornets 91-84. Miami 30-34. Charlotte 29-35. Kelly Olynyk had 22 for Miami. Josh Richardson had 13. Bam Adebayo had 10. Hassan Whiteside had 18 and 15 off the bench. Kemba Walker had 20 for Charlotte. Cody Zeller had 10 for Charlotte. And off the bench, Frank Kaminsky had 20. The Pistons defeat the Timberwolves 131-114. Detroit 32-31. Minnesota 30-35. Andre Drummond had 31 with 15 boards. Wayne Ellington had 11. Off the bench, Ish Smith had 19. Langston Galloway had 11. Luke Kennard had 21. Don Maker had 10. Karl Anthony Towns had 24 points. Andrew Wiggins had 18. Jeff Teague had 15. Anthony Tolliver and Taj Gibson each had 10 off the bench. The Wizards defeat the Mavericks 132-123. Washington 27-37, and that's exactly the record Dallas has. Bradley Beal had 30. Thomas Satoransky had 14. Jeff Green had 16. Trevor Reeves had 22. Bobby Portis had 12. And off the bench, Jabari Parker had 20. Dwight Powell had 26. Dorian Finney-Smith had 10. Luka Doncic had 31 with 11 boards and 7 assists. Jalen Brunson had 11. Tim Hardaway Jr. had 17. And off the bench with 18 points, Justin Jackson. The Spurs defeat the Hawks 111-104. The Spurs 37-29. Atlanta 22-44. LaMarcus Aldridge had 32. Rudy Gay had 12. Derek White had 18. DeMar DeRozan had 14. And off the bench, Davis Bertans and Patty Mills each had 12. Trae Young had 22. Alex Len had 11. John Collins had 18. And off the bench, Vince Carter had 10. And Kent Bazemore had 12. The Nets defeat the Cavs 113-107. Nets 34-33. Cleveland 16-49. Spencer Dinwiddie off the bench had 28 points. He has to be the favorite for the sixth man right now. Karis LeVert had 14 off the bench. D'Angelo Russell had 25. Jared Allen had 15. Kevin Love had 24. Larry Nance had 17 with 10 boards. Colin Sexton had 12. Off the bench, Jordan Clarkson had 14. And with 22 points off the bench, David Nwaba. The Bulls upset the 76ers 108-107. Chicago 19-47. Philadelphia 41-24. Jimmy Butler had 22. Tobias Harris had 13. JJ Redick had 15. Ben Simmons had 18 with 7 assists and 11 boards. Off the bench, James Ennis had 11. Zach LaVine, best player on the court, had 39 points in this one. Lauri Markkanen had 11. Otto Porter Jr. had 15. Robin Lopez had 19. The Jazz defeat the Pelicans 114-104. Good bounce-back win for Utah. They're 37-27. New Orleans is 30-37. Derek Favors had 25. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert each had 22. Joe Ingles had 10. Off the bench, Kyle Korver had 12. And Jay Crowder had 11. Anthony Davis had 16. Julius Randle had 23. Drew Holiday had 16. Kenny Williams had 12. Fred Jackson off the bench had 13. The Suns defeat the Knicks 107-96. Phoenix 15-51, New York 13-52. Devin Booker 41 points. Tyler Johnson had 14. DeAndre Ayton had 10. Kelly Oubre had 18. Off the bench, Rashawn Holmes had 10. DeAndre Jordan had 17. Noah Vonleh, Dennis Smith Jr., and Dame Dotson each had 15. And off the bench, Alonzo Trier had 12. The Celtics defeat the Kings 111-109 on a game-winning shot by Gordon Hayward with 2 seconds left. Boston's 40-26. Sacramento 32-32. Jason Tatum had 24. Marcus Morris had 19. Al Horford had 21. Terry Rozier had 16. Gordon Hayward had 12. Jaylen Brown had 10. Meanwhile, for Sacramento, Harrison Barnes had 24. Buddy Hield had 23. Willie Klein had 19. Darren Fox had 16. Bojan Bogdanovic had 14. Bench didn't do anything. The Nuggets crushed the Lakers 115-99. LeBron James passed Michael Jordan on the all-time scoring list. Denver goes to 43-21. Lakers dropped to 30-35. Will Barton had 23. Gary Harris had 19. Jamal Murray had 19. Nikola Jokic had 12 with 17 boards and 8 assists. And Paul Millsap had 15. Their bench didn't do anything. LeBron James had 37 points, 7 assists, and 7 boards. JaVale McGee had 16. Moritz Wagner had 11. And Alex Caruso had 15. Brandon Ingram did not play due to right shoulder soreness, and Kyle Kuzma did not play in this one either. Tonight's slate, only 2 games, and they're both on TNT. The Pacers are at the Bucks. Milwaukee's laying 10. I'm taking the Bucks to win and cover. The Thunder are at the Trailblazers. Portland's laying 3.5. And I'm going to take Portland to win and cover because I like how they've been playing. They're home, and they always rise to the occasion on TNT games at home. The NHL, only 4 games last night. The Capitals defeat the Flyers 5-3. Washington goes to 39-21-7. Philly 32-27-8. Number 1 star with the goal and assist, Alex Ovechkin. Number 2 star of the game with the goal and assist, Nick Backstrom. Number 3 star of the game with the goal and assist, Kyle Giroux. Canucks over the Maple Leafs 3-2 in overtime. A good win for Vancouver. They're 28-30-9. Toronto 41-21-5. Number 1 star of the game with the goal, Alex Edler. Number 2 star of the game with 28 saves on 30 shots, Jacob Markstrom. Number 3 star of the game with 28 saves on 31 shots, Frederik Andersen. The Blues defeat the Ducks 5-4. The Blues improve to 35-25-6 and come from behind style. Anaheim 26-33-9. Number 1 star of the game with the goal and assist, Alex Pietrangelo. Number 2 star of the game with 3 assists for the Ducks, Troy Terry. And the number 3 star of the game with the goal and assist, Ryan O'Reilly. The Golden Knights defeat the Flames 2-1. Vegas goes to 37-26-5. Calgary 41-19-7. Number 1 star of the game with the game-winning goal, Derek Engelland. Number 2 star of the game with the goal, Shea Theodore. Number 3 star of the game with 33 saves on 34 shots, Marc-Andre Fleury. Bigger slate tonight, 7 o'clock, you have the Panthers at the Bruins. NBCSN, the Blue Jackets at the Penguins. That's a big one in the Metro. Both of these teams need it in the worst way. Columbus, if they win this game, I believe that puts them in a tie with the Penguins in the standings. I'm going to take Pittsburgh just because they're home and they always rise to the occasion in these types of games. So give me Pittsburgh at home. 7:30, the Rangers at the Red Wings, the Islanders at the Senators, the Wild at the Lightning. 8:30, the Sabres at the Blackhawks, the Avalanche at the Stars. 9 o'clock, the Canucks at the Oilers, the Flames at the Coyotes. 10:30, the Blues at the Kings, and the Canadiens at the Sharks. Spring training, not going to go through today's games because they're underway. Just going to go through yesterday's games and notable things that would happen. Cardinals defeat the Yankees 9-5. John Gant gets the win. Jonathan Loaisiga with the loss. Tyler O'Neill homered. Austin Romine homered. O'Neill also had an RBI double. Jose Martinez had an RBI double. Paul DeJong had an RBI double. Paul DeJong also homered. So this was a good day for the Cardinals. Gant, 3 innings for his 3 earned runs, a walk and 2 strikeouts. Loaisiga, who's a candidate to be in the rotation at the start of the season with the loss of Luis Severino. 2 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Pirates over the Red Sox 6-1. This game was on ESPN. Nick Hingham gets the win and pitches 4 innings, 2 hits, doesn't give up an earned run or a walk, and strikes out 3. Braves over the Marlins 4-0. Bryce Wilson gets the win. Sergio Romo gets charged with a loss. Wilson, 3 innings, a hit, no earned runs, no walks, and a strikeout. Orioles over the Rays 9-6. Ryan Santander homered, the hot prospect. Cedric Mullins homered. So good day for Baltimore youngsters. Charlie Morton pitched for Tampa Bay 2 1/3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. Braves over the Tigers 8-2. Tukey Tucson gets the win. Tyson Ross with the loss. Grand slam, Freddie Freeman. Tyson Ross, 3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, a walk, and the strikeout just gave up that grand slam. Tucson, 3 innings, no hits, no runs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. Astros over the Marlins, 11-5, so the Marlins had the split squad yesterday. Brad Peacock pitched for Houston, 3 innings, a hit, no runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Trevor Richards went for Miami, 3 1/3 innings, 2 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. Blue Jays over the Phillies, 9-7. Anibal Sanchez gets the win. Vince Velasquez with the loss. Craig Biggio homered, and a lot of the Blue Jay regulars have had big games. Aaron Sanchez, 2 2/3 innings, a hit, no runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Vince Velasquez, an inning, a hit, and a run, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Brewers over the Diamondbacks, 5-4. Steven Souza Jr. homered, Eric Kratz homered. Eric Thames, 2-run homer. Robbie Ray pitched for Arizona, 3 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, no walks, and 8 strikeouts. Julius Chassin pitched for Milwaukee, 3 innings, 2 hits, an earned run, no walks, and a strikeout. Rangers over the Giants, 12-5. Eugenio Odor homered. Pablo Sandoval homered. Gerardo Parra homered. Chris Stratton pitched for San Francisco, 2 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Shelby Miller pitched for Texas, an inning and 2/3, 4 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Cubs over the Royals, 4-1. Victor Caratini is the only regular that homered for Chicago. Jose Quintana pitched 3 innings, a hit, no earned runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Heath Fillmyer, 2 innings, 2 hits, an earned run, no walks, and a strikeout. Angels over the Rockies, 6-5. Justin Anderson gets the win. Matt Harvey pitched 3 innings, 2 hits, an earned run, a walk, and a strikeout. John Gray, 4 innings, a hit, no walks, no earned runs, and 5 strikeouts. He's off to a good start in spring training. Reds over the Padres, 6-4. Matt Whistler gets the win. A couple of the Red regulars did some good things, including a home run by Scott Schebler, 3-run shot. Jacob Nix pitched for San Diego, 2 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, and a strikeout. Anthony DeSclafani pitched for Cincinnati, 2 2/3 innings, 5 hits, and an earned run, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Athletics over the Mariners, 7-4. Brent Anderson gets the win. Wade Blanc with the loss. Domingo Santana's off to a good start this spring training. He had a home run. Mark Hanna homered for Oakland. Starting for the Athletics in this game was Tanner Anderson. Pitched an inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, and no strikeouts. Brett Anderson, 3 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Wade LeBlanc, 3 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Indians over the Dodgers, 6-1. This was a night game. Mike Clevenger at the win, Rich Hill at the loss. Mike Clevenger, 3 innings, 1 hit, no runs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Rich Hill, 3 innings, 3 hits, an earned run, no walks, 4 strikeouts. Antonio Brown, the trade is supposed to take place tomorrow. I predicted that the Oakland Raiders would be the team that trades for him because I think John Gruden wants to make a splash after trading away Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper last year. And I think he wants to keep Derek Carr. And I think that Brown in Oakland makes a lot of sense. And I just think that the move to Vegas, they really want to make a splash, and trading for Antonio Brown is making a big splash. And other contenders for Brown include San Francisco, Arizona, the Jets. Green Bay is a dark horse. New Orleans is a dark horse. I'm not buying the Arizona one, but we'll see. I think the second most likely team behind Oakland to pull it off is San Francisco. I wouldn't rule out the Tennessee Titans in this either. And I think it's super duper dark horse, and this is Indianapolis, but I just can't see the Steelers trading him to somewhat of a rival. But I could see them moving him to the Raiders because they don't think the Raiders are going to be good, and I could just see them doing that. It's either to the Raiders, the Titans, or an NFC team. I just can't see them trading with the Super Bowl contender in the Colts. I don't see them trading with the division rival in the Browns. But then again, there was that report that came out yesterday that the Browns are up to something. A lot of people were speculating Odell Beckham Jr., but Dave Gettleman keeps coming out and repeating that Odell is not available and they did not extend him to trade him. So I'm not buying that one. And about 20 minutes ago, a story broke by ESPN's Adam Schefter. Multiple teams approached the Chicago Bears at the Combine last week and discussed a possible trade for running back Jordan Howard, per league sources. Discussions ongoing. This means that I think they want to keep Tyreek Cohen as their guy going forward, and they really don't want to keep Jordan Howard. Maybe there's something up with him, or he wants to be paid and Chicago doesn't want to pay him. I know they're going to eventually have to pay Mitch Trubisky. They have Khalil Mack on the books for big, so they can't keep everybody. And Howard is somebody that I think would gauge a lot of interest around the league. So that's something to keep an eye out for within the next few weeks. And now my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel, wagering 75 cents, 10-1 odds to a payout of $8.89. Colgate, Bucknell, Liberty, Appalachian State, Austin Peay, Texas Southern, UC Irvine, Jacksonville State, Stanford, San Diego, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Bruins, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's it for today. Tomorrow I'm probably going to get to my NFL trade value rankings. We'll do a bunch of other stuff, obviously recap everything from college basketball, NBA, NHL, spring training. Look ahead to tomorrow's slate, and obviously my best bet too. I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.